Welcome to my new video of Class 9 book Moments chapter Weathering the Storm in Ersama. Let me tell you something about the author Harsh Mandir. Harsh Mandir is an activist who works for the victims of mass violence and hunger as well as street children and homeless persons. He is the director of Center for Equity Studies and Special Commissioner to the Supreme Court of India in the Right to Food case. He has written many books and writes columns for the Hindustan Times, the Hindu, and Dainik Bhaskar. His stories have been adapted for films such as Shyam Benegal's Summer and Malika Sarabhai's dance drama Ansuni. Now, let me give an introduction to this chapter. The cyclone that hit Orissa in October 1999 killed thousands of people and devastated hundreds of villages. For 2 dreadful nights, Prashant, a young man, was marooned on the roof of a house. He emerged as a leader by bringing order in disorder and chaos, brought Sakar to hundreds, and found solutions even when the things appeared difficult. It highlights how, under the greatest adversity, there exists the greatest potential for doing good both for oneself and others. Let's take a glance at the chapter. Prashant's visit to Ersama. Prashant went to his friend's house in Ersama on 27th October 1999. It was 7 years after his mother's death. In the evening, heavy and continuous rain filled the darkness. Trees were uprooted. The waters entered his friend's house. The speed of the wind was 350 kilometers per hour. The scene of destruction was horrible. Prashant and his friend's family had taken refuge on the roof. 2 coconut trees had fallen on the roof, and the tender coconuts kept them alive. Prashant was shocked to see water all over. Houses were broken, carcasses and corpses floated everywhere. Huge trees had fallen down. Prashant starts on his way to the village. Prashant's village, Kalikura, was 18 kilometers from Ersama. He took the stick and he started on his way home. Prashant waded through the waters. On his way, he met 2 persons who were friends of his uncle. They all started their way back to the village, and with a stick, they had to push the corpses and the carcasses to make the way in the water. Prashant reaches his village. Prashant, when he reached his village, he found that the roof of his house was only left, and he went to the Red Cross shelter to look for his family. He saw his maternal grandmother there. It was a great miracle for all of them. Later, he found all his family members in the shelter. Prashant then emerged as a leader. All the houses were destroyed. He organized a group of youth and even elders. They pressurized the merchant to give them some rice. Then they made a fire and cooked rice. The next step was to clean the surroundings. Prashant's strategy. When a helicopter stopped dropping food, then Prashant deputed the children to lie with the empty utensils on their stomachs. The passing helicopters saw this and they paid regular visits there. Prashant, a social worker and a great savior. Prashant brought the orphan children. He made a shelter and he asked the women to look after them. He made the women join the Food for Work program, which was an NGO. He also believed that the orphans should be resettled in their own community. 6 months later, 6 months later, Prashant had no longer time to think about his own pain. The widows and the orphan children now only looked up to Prashant in their hours of grief. Let us see what is the theme of the chapter. After reading the chapter, we have analyzed and we have found out that The theme of this chapter, Weathering the Storm in Ersama, is that our courage, fortitude, and the presence of mind helps us to tide over even the worst of hurdles. Prashant, he faced deep sorrow, yet he stepped up to rehabilitate the people affected by the natural disaster. Hence, we all should be just like Prashant. He was just a lad of 19 years, but he did a lot. I hope you have understood the chapter clearly. Thank you.